Hi everyone, I'd like to talk to you today about lithography. Now traditionally lithography is created by drawing on the surface of a very smooth block of limestone. And the reason that they use the limestone is because it has a very porous surface. And what you would do is draw using a very greasy pencil, and the grease would soak into the pores of the surface of the stone. And then if you take a wet sponge and wipe over it, it would then soak up all the water as well. So what you have is a surface that has both grease and water. And this is basically the essence of lithography, is this idea of using water and ink and oil repelling each other. Where the oil is left in the stone, that's where it holds the ink, and you can make multiple prints from that area where basically you drew with the greasy, oily marker. Now, instead of using a stone in this class, what we have are polyester plates. So this is called a Pronto plate. That's the brand name of it. And it has a similar surface that has very absorbent, has a lot of holes in it that can hold a lot of water and also hold a lot of grease. So in that way, we can use the same tools to draw on it with the greasy markers, use the same techniques, and using oil-based ink, get similar printing from it as we would from a litho stone. Now I want you to notice that I'm wearing gloves, and that's because these Pronto plates are just so receptive to grease that even the oils from my fingers will leave marks on this plate, and it will embed itself into the plate and basically become a part of your print. So make sure to wear gloves or use paper to hold this plate when you're handling it so that you don't accidentally get bits of the oils from your hands all over it. So let's talk a little bit more about these markers that you have. The ones you're using are going to be just a general use China marker or a grease pencil. It's similar to the ones that I have here, but the ones that I have some examples here of what they look like. This is actually a lithographic pencil made specifically for this purpose. And it's a little bit hard to see the writing on the pencil, but I have a number 5, Korn's number 5, which has a harder lead, and you can see you can get kind of a lighter mark with it and still get a fairly nice dark black as well. I also have a Korn's number 2, which is really hard to get a very nice light mark from it, but you can get much richer, darker blacks from this Korn's number 2. The one that you'll be using is just a generic China marker, which has similar qualities of having this greasiness to it, but I feel like it's sort of an in-between. So you have kind of like what I would say a 3 or a 4, where you can get fairly nice light marks and still get pretty nice dark marks as well, depending on how much pressure you put down with this marker as you draw. And I would suggest that you just go ahead and play around with it. You can draw on just about any surface because of the quality of these waxy, greasy pencils. So feel free to just kind of play around with it and get a feel for it on a piece of paper before you start drawing on your Pronto plate. So I'd also recommend, before you start drawing on your plate, to go ahead and sketch out the image that you want to work with on a piece of paper. You don't really have to sketch it out perfectly. I would say just a general gestural drawing is going to work out fine. What I have here is just a quick sketch that I've made, but I also have the object that I'm going to be drawing right here on the table next to me. So when I work on the plate itself, I'm going to be drawing directly from the object itself. But I wanted to just lay it out on a piece of paper first, just to make sure I get it in the right place and get the shape sort of in the right place as well. So what you can do is, once you have the sketch, place your Pronto plate on top and get it in the right position. And I'm going to start off with a lighter number 2 to start off with. And what I'll do is start off with light marks just like you would with a drawing, and slowly work my way into some of the darker marks. So notice that I'm just lightly kind of sketching out general areas. want you to notice when you get to a point where you would like to have a sharper point, or you just need a little bit more of this lead to be exposed, there's this little string right here. And the way to expose more of the lead is just by pulling the string down a notch so that it tears that paper just a little bit. And if you peel back the paper, it peels away a layer of protective paper that's around your pencil. I'm actually going to have to take off my gloves for a minute to be able to finish tearing that paper away. Now this is quite a bit of lead to be exposed, so I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with it so I don't accidentally break the tip off as I'm drawing. I want you to notice while I'm working on the drawing, I have dark areas, I have light areas, and I want you to remember that for this type of printmaking, you can actually get those tonal values in the print itself. All of the drawing marks that you make will print almost exactly like what you see on this page. The only difference is that it will print in reverse, so keep in mind that this is going to be a reverse image of what you see on this plate. But all of these different tonal values, you can really work into it and use your drawing skills to bring out lots of lights and dark areas. It doesn't have to be just a line image. So I'm just going to keep working on this a little bit more until I think it's ready for a proof print. I started the drawing with my number 2 pencil. That's why I'm able to get such rich, nice, dark areas. And I do want to point out, for those of you who are going to print this by hand, as opposed to using a printing press, you do want to get some really, really nice, dark, rich areas, because sometimes some of the lighter marks can be hard to pull a print from if you're printing again with a spoon or somehow by hand. Now, if you're using a printing press, you'll be able to get the full range of it. But don't be afraid to go really nice and dark to bring out some dramatic life into your drawing. All right, I think this plate is ready for a proof. Let's take it to the press.